I'm Sophia, chess grandmaster. At my peak, I was ranked fourth in the world. My husband, Victor, is also a player. His rating is 200 points below mine. We've been married 6 years. Everyone calls us chess's perfect couple. But only I know the truth. In his eyes, my mind isn't mine, it's his. We studied openings together, analyzed opponents together, prepared for tournaments together. My opening repertoire, 10 years of work, over 1,000 variations, every single line I'd personally analyzed. He knew all of it. Because I trusted him. Between husband and wife, there shouldn't be secrets. That fall, at a Grand Prix tournament, I faced a key opponent, Russian Grandmaster Kuznetsov, rated over 30 points higher than me. For that game, I'd prepared a brand new opening variation, 3 months of work, every possible line mapped out. It was my secret weapon, custom built for that match. On move 8, Kuznetsov played a response that was way too perfect. It wasn't any line I'd anticipated. My hand hovered over the board. 3 seconds. It was a direct refutation of my secret variation, something only documented in my private repertoire. My hand hovered over the board. 3 seconds. I lost. After that game, my form collapsed. 3 straight losses. My ranking fell out of the top 10. The media said Sophia's Bespetta's days are behind her. Said 30 is a wall for female players. I didn't file a complaint because there was no proof. That black pawn from move 8, a thorn in my eye. I stared at it for a long time, then swept all the pieces off with my palm. The wooden pieces bounced on the hardwood floor, making a scattered noise like a spilled bottle of pills. The queen, the most powerful piece on the board. But she's also the only piece that can be sacrificed to protect the king. No, I'm done being the queen. Victor sat at his computer, analyzing positions, just like always. On the screen was his analysis of the game against Kuznetsov, as if nothing had happened. I stood behind him for a long time. It was you.
What?
My opening repertoire. You gave it to Lena, and she gave it to Kuznetsov. His hand froze on the mouse. The cursor on the screen stopped moving. A full 3 seconds of silence. Each one felt like a century.
You don't have any proof.
I don't need proof. What I need is to never need you again. I turned, walked into my study, closing the door behind me. I turned and walked into my study, closing the door behind me. That door used to stay open. We used to say that there was no need for closed doors between husband and wife. Now I've closed it. Not because I have something to hide, but because I have nothing left to show him. I sat in my chair. The board was empty. The pieces were still scattered in their storage box. Moonlight streamed through the window, falling on the empty board, the squares black and white in sharp contrast. Victor didn't knock. He probably thought I'd calm down, that I'd forgive him. After all, he's my husband. And Lena is my student. Family, right? I spent 3 days moving all my game records, notes, and opening repertoire off the family shared drive. Those files represented 10 years of work, tens of thousands of hours of thought. Every variation I'd worked out alone late at night, after the vorsinchen using mentistrain variation. Every line I'd reconstructed after losing a game. I don't regret moving them, because they're not secrets anymore. I sat in my now empty study. In front of me, only a computer and a chessboard. The board is wooden, a gift from my father on my 18th birthday. I needed a new weapon. Not a new opening variation, that would just be trading one knife for another. I needed an entirely new way of doing things. I'd learned some programming in college, not an expert, but enough to understand the basics of machine learning. That year, I read a paper about AlphaZero, an AI that taught itself Go, chess, and shogun through self-play and surpassed every human player. That night, I wrote my first line of code. Chenjin is engine. Not because I'm good at programming, but because I have nothing left except chess. Not because I'm good at programming, but because I have nothing left except chess. Someone stole my chess, so I'll build a new one. The keyboard clicks were soft, but in the quiet of the late-night house, they were loud. I knew Victor heard them, but he didn't come to knock. Victor noticed I was spending more and more time in the study. I used to spend 2 or 3 hours a day in there. Now it was from morning to night. Breakfast brought in, lunch brought in, dinner eaten in there too. The sound of the keyboard drifted through the crack in the door, clicking and clacking, not like playing chess, more like writing something. One day, he finally couldn't hold back. He stood in the doorway, holding a cup of coffee.
What are you doing?
Working.
What kind of work?
His voice had a hint of probing, a hint of unease. You don't need to know. He was quiet for a moment. He never used to ask me, "What are you doing?" because he used to know everything. Now he didn't know. He had my training schedule on his phone. He knew all my computer passwords. I could see that loss on his face, but I didn't feel sorry for him. Because he chose betrayal first. I didn't choose secrecy. I kept typing. The numbers on the screen were jumping. Training data feeding in. The neural network irrimating. I'm not an expert in machine learning, but I understand chess. I know how a chess player thinks. How they evaluate positions, calculate variations, find order in chaos. I translated those things into code. Not for the machine. For myself. I stayed up very late that night. At 2 a.m, the study light bled through the door crack into the hallway. Victor didn't come to knock. He'd probably gotten used to it. But before I turned off the light, I glanced toward the bed. He had his back to me, breathing evenly. I didn't know if he was really asleep or just pretending. I didn't want to know. Building an AI turned out to be way harder than I imagined. The first 2 weeks was almost total failure. My data processing scripts kept throwing errors. The neural network layers were wrong. The loss function wouldn't converge. I stared at that result and almost laughed. At myself. A grandmaster building an AI that couldn't beat a Class C player. But I didn't give up. Because I've seen tougher positions, down a rook with no compensation, facing a world champion. I reread the machine learning textbooks and scrolled through countless forum posts. I didn't need to become an AI expert. I just needed to build something that could play chess. The fourth week, the AI started to look like something. Its style was strange, unlike anyone else's. Not Karpov's smoothness, not Kasparov's aggression, not Fletcher's precision. I know it sounds ridiculous. A grandmaster celebrating AI doesn't hang its king. But every great thing starts with the smallest victories. I looked at the screen and said, "Good kid." Good kid. Then felt a little stupid. But in that moment, I didn't feel alone anymore. That thing on the other side of the screen, it was my creation. It didn't know betrayal, didn't know fear, didn't know jealousy. It only knew how to play chess. Pure, clean. I gave it a name. Athena. The fourth week, the AI started to look like something. Its style was strange, unlike anyone else's. Not Karpov's smoothness, not Kasparov's aggression, not Fletcher's precision. It had its own logic, a feeling somewhere between human and machine. Sometimes it would play a move I didn't understand. I'd stare at the board for 5 minutes, then suddenly saw 5 moves later, there was a brilliant tactic. Its strength was roughly international master level, 1 rank before me, but already competitive with regular professionals. More importantly, it remembered everything. Every game I fed it, it etched into its neural network. It wouldn't forget, it wouldn't get tired, it wouldn't choke in critical moments. I named it Athena, the goddess of wisdom. That night I lay in bed, my head full of Athena's games. Victor was asleep, his back to me. I looked at the back of his head and remembered those words. "My mind is not your library free for borrowing." That phrase turned over in my mind for a long time like a seed. I rolled over to face the wall. The wall was blank, but I felt like I was building a new wall. Not to keep others out, but to hold myself up. The 5th week, Athena's strength surpassed my expectations. I used it to play against myself. Not that it sat across from me, it doesn't have hands, I had to make its moves for it, but its moves were its own. We played 10 games. I won 6, it won 4. 4. An AI less than 2 months old, beating a grandmaster 4 times. What shocked me even more was that the games it won, it didn't play like me. It had developed its own style, one that was extremely calm, extremely precise, extremely ruthless. It wasn't afraid to sacrifice, wasn't afraid of complications, wasn't afraid of long thinking. It had only one goal, to win. I suddenly realized I had created a stronger player than myself. Not because it's smarter than me, but because it has no fear, no pride, no "this move is too risky" mental block. It only looks at the position, not the name on the other side. In that moment, I felt something strange. Not jealousy, not pride, but freedom. Because I finally had a partner that could improve without needing anyone else. I looked at the screen and said, "Athena, thank you." The cursor blinked on the screen. Of course it didn't respond. But in that moment, I felt like it understood. The 6th week, I registered an anonymous account and let the form was a chess website where tens of thousands of people played every day. I had Athena play under the name Athena AI, randomly matched against opponents. First month, it won 30 games and lost 5. The losses due its opening book was based on my repertoire, which had been compromised. But Athena learns. After every loss, it adjusted its weights. A week later, its rating shot up to 2700, Grandmaster level. Online, people started asking, who is Athena AI? Some said it's a Grandmaster Smuff account. Others said, this person's playing style is probably a woman. I didn't respond. The timing wasn't right yet. But one thing bothered me. Victor also played on that platform. His username was Victor B. I recognized his style, solid but conservative, afraid to sacrifice, afraid to take risks. I had Athena match against him. I didn't interfere in that game. Athena played on its own. It started off quietly, with both sides trading a few pawns. In the middle game, Athena suddenly sacrificed a knight. Not a normal sacrifice, but the kind that looks like a free piece but actually hides a 10-move checkmater. I could feel his hesitation from the move times. He thought for a full 7 minutes. For those 7 minutes, my eyes never left the screen. I could imagine his expression on the other side. Frowning, biting his lip, told finger hovering over the mouse, unable to click. He must have calculated over and over, doubled himself over and over, this can't be a trap. But his calculation wasn't deep enough. He couldn't see 10 moves ahead. 7 minutes later, he took the knight. Athena's queen sliced into his king's position like a knife. 5 moves later, Victory resigned. The whole game was less than 30 moves. I sat in front of the screen, watching the moment he resigned. His avatar went dark. He probably had no idea who he was playing against. Maybe he thought it was some unknown foreign player, maybe a rising talent. He didn't know it was me. It was Athena, the thing built by the woman whose opening repertoire he stole. I didn't smile. I just felt, this game I've been playing for 6 years. Victor's complexion isn't looking good.
Ran into a strong player last night. Really weird style.
Oh?
He sacrificed a knight. I couldn't figure it out. Later I analyzed it. The sacrifice wasn't theoretically sound, but once I took it, I lost.
Then it was sound?
Have you still been studying chess lately?
Of course.
With who?
With myself. He didn't ask further. He didn't know what that myself was, and he didn't know that myself had just crushed him. I heard him sigh behind me. That sigh held exhaustion, regret, and something else I couldn't quite name. Maybe loneliness. He thought I was drifting away from him. He didn't know that he left me first. One more game. The 7th week, Athena's rating broke 2,800. What does that number mean? It means it's already top 20 in the world. It means it can go toe-to-toe with any grandmaster. It means it's already nearly 200 points ahead of Victor. But more importantly, Athena had learned something new. It started to recognize an opponent's mental state, not through facial expressions, but through the moves. When the opponent hesitated, Athena played more aggressively. When the opponent got impatient, Athena set traps. It hadn't studied psychology, but it had 1,000 human games. It knew under what circumstances humans made mistakes. An idea suddenly came to me. Not revenge. I don't need revenge. The chess already took care of that. What I needed was a stage. I contacted an online media outlet. I have a story about a grandmaster whose opening repertoire was stolen and the AI she built.
Are you willing to go on the record?
Yes.
Does your husband know?
He will soon. I hung up, sat in the studia, and looked out the window. The sky was getting dark. The streetlights came on, casting orange light on the locust tree in the yard. That tree Victor and I planted together when we first moved in. Now it's grown tall, its canopy shading half the yard. The tree is still there, but the people are gone. Not dead, but the thing called us is dead. The interview took place in my study. The reporter was a young woman with glasses, holding a voice recorder. Her eyes went wide when she saw the code and the chessboard on the screen. You wrote this AI all by yourself? Yes. You studied programming? In college, I was in the computer club. I helped a senior write an evaluation function for a Chinese chess engine. Very basic. Most of it I learned as I went. I told the truth and gave a reasonable explanation. Why didn't you ask a professional programmer for help? Because this is my war alone. I don't need reinforcements. The day the interview was published, the headliner Sophia, my mind was not yet free for borrowing. The article detailed how Victor and Lena had leaked my opening repertoire, how I didn't file a complaint but instead spent 2 months developing Athena, and how I used it to defeat both of them online. The comments section exploded. Some called Victor scum. Some felt sorry for Sophia for betrayed by the people closest to her. Some marveled at a woman building an AI surpasses grandmasters. I didn't respond. I only needed one thing, a public challenge. That night, Victor didn't come home. He sent a message, I'm staying at a friend's place. I didn't reply. I put my phone on the table, screen down. I used to worry when he came home late. Not anymore. The next day, I posted a message on social media. Within 48 hours, Victor didn't reply. Lena didn't reply either. But the media exploded. This story hit the top of the chess world's headlines. Some called it the biggest scandal in chess history. Others called it a woman's most elegant revenge for betrayal. On the third day, Victor finally replied. Just one line. Lena replied shortly after. I turned off my phone and walked into the study. Athena's program was ready. I sat there, waiting for the match to start. My heartbeat was steady. My hands didn't shake. Not because I was sure to win, because I'd already lost the hardest game, lost to trust, lost to love. This game now, no matter how hard, couldn't be harder than that. I opened Athena's interface and typed a line, tomorrow it's on you. The cursor blinked. I took that as an answer. First game, against Victor. Live streamed, over 100,000 viewers. I sat in my study. The board was on the screen. Victor didn't know it was me on the other side. The platform only showed the ID Athena AI. He might have thought it was a program, or maybe some other player, but he didn't know the hand moving the mouse was mine. Athena had white. It played the English opening, not my usual opening, Athena's own choice. I used to avoid the English because it was too quiet, but when Athena played it, it wasn't quiet at all. On move 3, it sacrificed a pawn. Victor thought for a long time but didn't take move times. Over 2 minutes for every move, his mouse hovering and darting, indecisive. I took a sip of coffee. The coffee was cold, but I didn't care. Move 7, Anthea jumped a knight to the center. It wasn't theoretically the best move, but Anthea had calculated a hidden tactic. If Victor took the knight, the queen would pierce his defenses. Victor didn't take. He retreated his bishop, as conservative as an amateur afraid to lose. Move 12, Athena sacrificed a second pawn. This time Victor took it. His clock was down to 8 minutes, and Athena had 15. After he took that pawn, the position opened up. Athena's 2 bishops were like scissors, cutting open Victor's king's position. Move 23, Athena's queen slid in on the diagonal. Check. Victor could only block with his bishop. Athena took the bishop. Check again. Victor could only block with his knight. Athena took the knight. Check again. 3 checks in a row, like a hammer. Bang, bang, bang. Victor resigned. 28 moves total. The live chat filled with messages. Victor's face looks awful. I sat on my side of the screen watching Victor's avatar go dark. I felt nothing. Not satisfaction, not relief. Just, this game is finally over. Before the game started, I received a private message from I didn't reply. Not that I didn't want to, I just didn't know how. Sorry is too light, light as a feather, but it's also too heavy for me to hold. I closed the message window and started the game. She played the Spanish opening. I'd taught her that. I knew that opening inside out, every branch, every trap, every tactic. But Athena knew it even better than I did, because it remembered every single game. Move 7, Lena played an aggressive line fanchoing the king's bishop. That was her favorite line when she was young. Sharp attacking chess, but it ran out of steam. I'd taught her the weakness of that line, but she forgot. Or maybe she thought I'd go easy on her. Athena didn't go easy. It countered on the queen side, traded 2 pawns and opened up the lines. 15 as none its position, like a nail hammered into wood. Lena started thinking for a long time, over 3 minutes per move. Move 22, Athena sacrificed a rook. Not a miscalculation, a brilliant trap. If Lena took the rook, Athena would checkmate in 3. Lena took it. 2 moves later, she saw the problem, but it was too late. Her mouse hovered over the board for so long I thought she'd disconnected. Then she resigned. After resigning, her avatar didn't go dark immediately. It stayed for about 10 seconds. I stared at those 3 words for a long time. Not forgiveness. Not unforgiveness. Just a period. After the match, the World Chess Federation launched an investigation. They pulled the data from the Kuznetsov game and compared it against the variations in my repertoire. The result was clear. Those variations had never appeared any public source. The only possible leaks ones to obtained in an opponent's confidential information. The coverage was overwhelming. Some said Victor destroyed his own career. Some said Lena was used by someone else. And some said, that last one I read twice. Fia went too far. A woman betrayed by the people you didn't cry, didn't make a scene, and that's called going too far. I laughed a little, not because it was funny, but because it was sad. Turns out for a woman, being too strong is a sin. I sat in my study and took a screenshot of that comment. Not to hold a grudge, but to remind myself, this world is never gentle to strong women, so you have to be even stronger. Victor moved out. The day he packed his things, we didn't fight. He quietly folded his clothes. I quietly sat in the living room reading. The book was a chess tactics manual, but I didn't read a single word. I kept watching the t-shirts into perfect squares, stacking them neatly into the suitcase. All these years of marriage, I'd always folded his clothes. Today, he folded them himself better than I ever did. He pulled the suitcase to the door and stopped, didn't look back.
Sophia, are you really not going to forgive me?
Did you ever ask? When was the last time you sorry?
I'm sorry.
It was the night you teamed up with Lena. Did you think about saying sorry to me back then? He didn't answer. The door opened, then closed. The suitcase wheels clicked over the threshold. Then the engine started. The car pulled out of the garage. The sound faded into the distance. I sat there holding my book until said it's just us now. The person blinked. I suddenly realized, in these 6 years, because from start to finish, it was only me. The national team came to me. The call was from an older man, Ted, over 60, who'd coached 3 old champions. His voice was raspy, but his tone was sincere.
Sophia, your Athena is impressive, but I'm not inviting Athena. I'm inviting you.
What for?
As a coach, head coach of the women's national team, not your AI. They need your mind, your heart, the road you've walked.
I'll think about it.
How long will you think?
The length of one chess game.
Okay, I'll wait.
I hung up and sat down at the board. Not my own board, Athena's board. I set up a position on the screen, a complicated mid-game, both sides with chances. I had Athena analyze 2 lines. One was a risky attack, 51% win probability. One was solid defense, 49% win probability. The difference was only 2 percentage points. Which one do you pick? It picked the attack. I smiled. Athena is braver than me. Or rather, Athena showed me my own bravery because I wrote its code. Its choice was, in essence, my choice. I just didn't dare admit it before. I'm in. I said yes to Ted. Not because I wanted to be a coach. Because of what he said, the girls need someone like you. I knew what the girls needed. They needed someone to tell them your mind is your own, not anyone's library. Your talent is not for making others look good. You can win on the board, and you can win off it too. First day as coach, I walked into the national team's training hall. 8 girls sat in front of chessboards, the oldest 23, the youngest 15. Their eyes held curiosity, respect, and a little bit of creationistness. Do you know Athena?
Yes.
Not necessarily my weapon. Could be an opening repertoire, a tactical style, a training method. As long as it's yours, that's enough. One girl raised her hand. She was 15, with a ponytail and bright eyes. Her name was Emily.
Coach Sophia, can we use Athena for training?
They're starting today on the coaching partner. Because on the chessboard, there are no men or women, only winners and losers. The girls looked at each other. Some looked nervous, some excited. Emily wrote something in her notebook. I glanced over. She'd written Athena, just wait. The girls were strong. Their ratings ranged from 2,100 to 2,500, still a ways off from world class, but they had something stronger than anyone else, hunger. They wanted to win so badly. Not for themselves, for all the people who said girls can't play chess. Athena was a strict sparking partner. It wouldn't go easy, wouldn't let them win, wouldn't cut them slack because they were having a bad day. The first week, 8 girls played 32 games, didn't win a single one, cried, someone threw their mouse, someone crumpled up their score sheet and threw it in the trash. I didn't comfort them. You don't get to cry until you've beaten Athena. After you win once, cry all you want. They wiped their tears and sat down at the board. She picked up the crumpled score sheet, smoothed it out, taped the tears, then recopied it page by page. It took her 3 hours. When the other girls saw her copying the score sheet, they came back too. The second week, Emily beat Athena. Not by luck, by a brilliant tactical combination. The combination of Phonos Acrospes were too deep, beyond its calculation. Emily said I'm used to it and missed it. The other girls crowded around her, jumping and hugging. I stood in the doorway, watching them, and smiled. Not a proud smile, and I knew it smile. Victor was officially suspended for 2 years. The day the Federation's announcement came out, I was in the training hall helping Emily analyze a position. My phone buzzed. I picked it up and glanced at it, then locked the screen and put it back in my pocket. What is it? Nothing. Is it about Victor's suspension? How do you know?
It's all over the internet. Coach Sophia, are you sad?
I thought about it. Not sad. Not happy either. It's like when a game is over. Win or lose, you put the pieces away and ready for the next one. Emily nodded.
So what's the next game?
You. You are my next game. Emily looked down at the board. Coach Sophia?
I won't let you lose.
I looked at her. There was a light in her eyes. A light I knew well. It was the light in my own eyes 20 years ago. I didn't answer. Some things don't need to be said. Lena came to see me. She stood at the entrance of the training hall, carrying an old backpack, wearing a gray hoodie with the hood still up. Her eyes were red. She was much thinner than before, sunken cheeks, prominent cheekbones.
Sister Sophia, can I talk to you for a bit?
I looked at the girls and against Athena, no one paying attention to the door. 10 minutes. We walked to the end of the hallway. The window was open, a breeze blowing in with a hint of coolness.
I want to come back to chess.
You're still under suspension.
I know, after the suspension ends, I want to train with you. I know I don't have the right to ask, but
You don't know what else to do besides chess. She lowered her head. Tears fell. 1 drop, 2 drops, hitting the floor. Lena, do you remember the first time you beat me? In a team training match, you beat me. You cried not but because you felt you'd surpassed your teacher. And you remember what I said?
You said you didn't harass me. You became yourself.
Are you yourself now? She shook her head. The tears flowed harder. When the suspension is over, come find me. But there's a condition.
What condition?
Before then, figure out why you want to play chess. Not for me, not for Victor, not to prove anything. Figure that out, then come. She nodded, turned, and walked away. The hallway held only the sound of her footsteps, fading away. I watched her back, remembering her at 14. Back then, she smiled like a flower. Now that flower had wilted, but the roots were still there. 6 months later, Emily won the National Youth Championship. At the award ceremony, she stood on the podium, holding her gold medal, smiling at the camera. Who do you want to thank the most?
Coach Sophia and Athena.
Athena is that AI, right?
Yes. I lost to Athena over 300 times before I learned how to win.
I watched from below, the corners of my mouth turning up. Over 300 games, that number. Emily started playing Athena on her first day. Didn't win a single game. At 30 straight losses, she cried. At 100, she stopped crying. At 200, she started taking notes. On the night of her 300th loss, she came to me. Coach Sophia, I think I know how to win. The next day, she won. Game 3 had won. I went backstage. Emily was sitting in a chair, hugging her gold medal, staring into space. When she saw me, she stood up.
Coach Sophia, I'm giving you the gold medal.
What would I do with it? It's yours.
But without you, I couldn't have won it.
Without me, you still would have won it. Just a little slower. But slower isn't wrong. Every move counts. She pressed the medal to her chest and smiled. Lena's suspension still had 6 months left. That day I saw a post online, game scores from a player in a small city. The signature was Lynn. I clicked and looked at a few games. The style was familiar, solid, subtle, preferred trading queens into endgames. It was Lena. She wasn't using her real name, but she was still playing. At least 1 game a day, opponents ranging from 1800 to 2200. She won a lot, lost some too. But after every game, she attached a short analysis note in the comments like she was writing to herself. I read her notes. At first they were lazy, middle game mishandled. Then gradually they got serious. Move 17 instantly ends to d4, because later she started posting diagrams with 3 or 4 branches like a professional's training notes. She had changed. She used to play to win, for results, for Victor's approval. Now she played for the sake of playing. I didn't comment. I just read all her games, then anonymously sent Athena's analysis to her account. No signature, no message. The next day, she posted new games. The moves were more precise. 2 years later, Victor's suspension ended. He didn't come back to competitive chess. He started an online chess teaching channel for beginners. Not a huge following, but decent. Someone commented under his video, "Isn't this the guy who stole his wife's opening repertoire?" He didn't reply. Didn't delete it either. Just left it there. Once I accidentally clicked into his channel. He was explaining a classic line of the Spanish opening, very clear, very patient. His voice was the same as before, calm, gentle. I listened for about 5 minutes, then turned it off. Not because he was doing a bad job, because I'd heard enough, not hatred. Those sounds just no longer had anything to do with me. I closed the video and opened Athena's interface. A system notification popped up. Athena had completed a new round of self-play, generating 120 new opening varietants. Clicked in and started analyzing. Chess was still here. That was enough. Lena's suspension ended. She came to see me, standing at the training hall entrance with that old backpack, but this time without the hood up. Her hair had grown long, pulled back in a ponytail. Her eyes weren't red anymore. Her lips weren't chapped. She looked like a person again. Sister Sophia, I've figured it out. Tell me. I don't play chess for you or for Victor or for anyone, because on the board, I'm the freest. I don't have to think about anything, just about how to win. That's enough. Come in. She walked into the training hall. Her eyes got red, but she didn't cry. The girls looked up and saw Lena. They all paused. Some recognized her and looked back down at their boards. Some stared at her with complicated expressions. Emily stood up and walked over to Lena.
You're Lena? Yes.
Coach Sophia told me about you. She said you're a strong player.
Thank you.
Let's start training. Lena sat down and set up the board. Her hands were a little shaky, but the moment she picked up the first piece, they steadied. I watched this scene and remembered something. 14-year-old Lena, sitting across from me for the first time, the same thing. Shaky hands, then steady the moment she touched the piece. Some people are just meant to be chess players, because only on the chessboard do they feel truly alive. Lena started training with the girls. It was awkward at first. The girls knew her past. Some didn't talk to her. Some glanced at her sideways. Some whispered behind her back. Lena didn't say anything. She just showed up first every day and left last. She analyzed more games than anyone, asked deeper questions than anyone. A month later, Emily beat Lena in a training game.
Good game.
Emily hesitated, then took her hand. After that, the girls stopped whispering. Not because they forgot, but because they saw Lena truly loved chess. Not for anything else, just for the 32 pieces on the board. One day after training, Lena stayed behind to help me organize the chess equipment.
Sister Sophia, do you know why I came back?
Why?
Because I don't know how to do anything except play chess. But that's the most important thing. The most important thing is I want to play chess, not because of you, because of me. I want to prove that I can become myself too.
You are becoming yourself right now, she smiled. That was the first time I'd seen her smile since she left the national team. Athena had an upgrade. I spent 6 months rewriting its core architecture. The new version no longer depended on my opening repertoire. Through self-play, it had generated a brand new opening system of its own. That system was strange. Some openings included moves humans had never played, but the win rate was astounding. I gave the girls the new version of Athena. They trained with it for a month. Their ratings went up an average of 50 points.
Sophia, you're not a coach, you're a revolutionary.
I'm not a revolutionary. I'm just someone who had something stolen and learned how to lock the door.
Victor came to see me.
What did he say?
He said he wants to come back. Not as a coach, but as a regular player. He wants to prove he can still play.
What did you say?
I said, this is Sophia's place. Go ask her.
I looked out the window. The locust tree in the yard had grown taller again. Leaves covered the ground, impossible to sweep clean. He doesn't need to ask me. He plays his chess. I play mine. No connection. Ted looked at me, didn't say anything more. The national team selected Emily and 2 other girls to compete in the World Youth Championship. You're going to this tournament not for me, the national team, not to prove that girls can play. You're going to play chess. Play every move well, think through every variation. When you win, don't be modest. When you lose, don't cry.
If we lose, can we cry?
Yes. And then keep playing. They laughed. Emily got to the door, then turned back. She hugged me. Tight.
Coach Sophia, I'll win.
You don't have to win. Just play your game. She let go, turned, and ran. I stood in the doorway, watching their car pull out of the training base.
Nervous?
No.
Liar.
Okay, you got me, yes. At the World Youth Championship, Emily won silver. Gold went to a Russian girl. The girl was 2 years older, more experienced. Emily's loss was painful. She missed one move in the middle game, her opponent seized it, and a winning position turned into a loss. At the award ceremony, Emily didn't cry.
I lost.
I know.
I shouldn't have lost that game.
So what did you learn? She thought. I learned that when you're winning, you can't relax. The game isn't over until the opponent resigns. Good. That's what this tournament was for. Not to win gold, to learn. Next time, I'll get gold. Okay, I'll be waiting.
Emily will come back,
I know.
just like you did.
Just like I did. 3 years later, Emily became world champion. Her opponent in the final was exactly the Russian girl who had beaten her. This time, Emily gave her no chance, 3-0, clean and decisive. In the final game, Emily used an opening variation Athena had taught her. Her opponent was completely thrown off and was already in trouble by move 10.
My mind is my own.
Those were the words I'd said to Victor back then. She'd heard it in an interview and remembered it for 3 years. I watched from in front of the TV, smiling. Tears welled up. My phone buzzed. A message from Lena. She did it. I replied with one word. Yeah. Another buzz. This time from an unknown number. Sophia, congratulations. No name, but I knew who it was. I didn't reply. Put the phone on the table and kept watching Emily's award ceremony. Emily stood on the top podium, waving warmly to the crowd. Lena came back too. Not as a player. Her peak had passed. She came back as an assistant coach, helping me train the new girls. She stood in the training hall, speaking to a dozen girls, all just over 10 years old. Their eyes were bright, just like hers back then.
Do you know why this place is called Sophia's training camp?
No one answered, because someone once stole Coach Sophia's opening repertoire. She didn't cry, didn't make a scene, didn't beg anyone. She built an AI, used it to win everything back, and then she came here and lent you her mind. But remember, it's a loan, not a gift. You need to train your own minds, then give hers back. The girls nodded, half understanding. I stood in the doorway, listening, saying nothing. Lena turned her head and looked at me. There were tears in her eyes, but she was smiling. I smiled too. After Emily won the world championship, reporters came to interview me.
Coach Sophia, what do you think is the biggest factor in Emily's success?
Herself.
No connection to Athena?
No matter how good the tool is, it's useless if the person it isn't up to it. Emily succeeded because she wanted to win, dared to win, and wasn't afraid to lose. And what about yourself? What's your greatest achievement? Not Athena, not the world championship. It's these girls. They no longer need permission to play chess. They were born with that right. That's my achievement. The reporter wrote something in her notebook.
Is there anything you still want to say to Victor?
No. Chess already said it all. After the interview, I went back to my study. Athena's interface was open, the cursor blinking. I typed a line. When I stemmer it stemmer, what do you do like? The cursor paused for half a second. Of course, there was no answer. But in my heart, I answered for it. It's you. Victor posted a video online. He said a lot of things, mostly he was wrong. He shouldn't have leaked Sophia's opening repertoire. He hurt someone he should have protected. He apologized. Didn't expect forgiveness, but hoped Sophia would do well. When I saw that video, I was eating lunch. My phone was on the table. The video auto-played. His face appeared on the screen. Much older. Gray hair. Heavy bags under his eyes. He was sitting in an unfamiliar room. A blank white wall behind him. I turned off the video. Not because I didn't want to see it, but because I didn't need to. The girls were playing against Athena, the sound of pieces clicking. I stood by the window, watching them.
Coach Sophia, did you see Victor's video?
Saw the beginning.
Aren't you angry?
No. Anger means you still care. I don't care anymore. Emily nodded. She didn't ask again. She said she was in a small city. No coach, no teammates, no training facilities. Every day she set up positions on her own, analyzed on her own, played games online. Her rating was already 2,300.
Coach Sophia, I want to train with you. But my family doesn't have the money to come to Washington.
What's your name?
Maya.
Maya, you don't need to come to Washington. Send me your games. I'll help you analyze. Athena will help you too.
Really?
Really, because I'm not your coach. You are your own coach. I'm just showing you the way. There was silence on the other end. Then I heard crying. Not sad crying, the kind of crying that comes when someone finally sees you and you can't hold it back. Stop crying. Go send the games.
Okay.
5 minutes later, my inbox had a new email with 20 game scores attached. I opened the first game. 3 minutes in, I sat up straight. This girl was something special. I finished going through Maya's games. Her style was wild, not like a classically trained player. She dared to sacrifice, dared to take risks, dared to play variations others avoided. Some moves were imprecise, but the ideas were excellent. What she lacked wasn't talent, it was systematic training. I used Athena to analyze 50 of her games, each with detailed variations and position evaluations. I sent her the analysis with a note. Your problem isn't brain is bad. Athena will help you sort equations. A month later, her rating jumped 80 points. She sent a message.
Coach Sophia, I beat a grandmaster.
I replied with one word. Good.
That grandmaster said my moves weren't standard. I said winning is standard.
I laughed. This girl was even more stubborn than me. 2 more years passed. Maya won the National Youth Championship. When she came to Washington to receive her award, she finally met me in person. She stood at the chess bag, small and thin, dark skin, big eyes. Her ponytail was tied high, like a little brush.
Coach Sophia!
When she came to Washington to receive her award, she finally met me in person.
I won the championship! National Youth Champion!
I know. I watched the live stream.
You watched?
Every move. She cried. Tears fell in drops. She wiped them with the back of her hand, but more kept coming. Don't cry. Go back and keep training. The World Championship is still waiting for you up ahead.
Okay. I'll go back and train right away.
Not even a few days off?
No rest. Athena is waiting for me.
She walked into the training hall, put her bag on the table, opened it, and took out her board and pieces. Emily walked over and looked at her equipment. That board of yours is way too old.
As long as it works.
Maya sat down and started setting up. Her movements were crisp and clean, like a blade. Maya made the national team. Her first day, she played 3 games against Athena. Lost all 3. She didn't cry. She took out her notebook, started analyzing, and filled 3 full pages. You write that much?
Every move Athena plays is useful. I won't write it a lie. I'm losing value.
You're just like me back then.
You also lost to Athena 300 times?
301 before I won.
Then I need to lose at least 300 first.
She meant it. Day 1, 10 losses. Day 2, 8. Day 3, 12. She didn't count out loud, but I knew she was counting. Because after every loss, she drew a line in her notebook. The cover of that notebook was already covered in tally marks.
Coach Sophia, do you think I can surpass Emily?
You don't need to surpass her. Just surpass yesterday's you.
That's too easy. I surpass yesterday's me every single day.
Then that's enough. Today marks my 5th year as a coach. 20 girls sat in the training hall. The oldest 23, the youngest 9. Emily was an assistant coach. Lena was 2. Maya sat in the front row, her notebook in her hands, densely packed with writing. I stood on the stage, looking at them. Those faces, those eyes, those hands holding chess pickles. When I came here 5 years ago, There were only 8 girls. Now there were 20. 5 years ago, their eyes said, "I need you to teach me." Now their eyes said, "I know I can." 5 years ago, someone asked me why I wanted to be a coach. I said because girls need someone to tell them, "Your mind is your own." Today I ask you, whose mind is it? My own! Good. Now let's start training. The girls sat down, set up their boards, turned on their computers, and logged into Athena. The sounds of keyboards, mouse, and pieces landing on boards intertwined like a piece of music. I stood by the window, watching them. Outside, the sun was shining. Today marks Athena's 5th birthday. I sat in my study. Athena's interface was on the screen. 5 years ago, on this screen, I wrote the first line of code. 5 years later, Athena had analyzed over 100,000 games, helped over 103 national champions, and 1 world champion. It couldn't speak, couldn't laugh, couldn't cry, but it had done something many people couldn't. It had never betrayed me. Coach Sophia, someone's here to see you. Who? Go out and see. I went outside. At the training hall entrance stood an older man, over 60, completely white hair, wearing a gray jacket. He was holding a wooden chessboard, its corners worn smooth.
Sophia, long time no see.
It was Ted, the man who'd invited me to coach the national team. Ted? What brings you here?
To see you, to see these girls, to see Athena.
He walked into the training hall and watched the girls playing. Emily was coaching Maya. Lena was helping a beginner set up. 20 people, 20 boards, 20 focused expressions.
You've done better than I did.
I didn't do it alone. They did.
You're the one who led them.
The one leading doesn't matter. What matters is the right direction. Only when the pieces move in their direction can you checkmate the Ips king.
That line of yours is good enough for a textbook.
Not mine. Chess's. Chess taught me. After he left, I went back to my study and sat in front of the computer. Athena's interface was on the screen, the cursor blinking. I typed a line, "Athena, these 5 years, thank you." The cursor blinked. Then a line appeared on the screen not generated by Athena, as the program's response text buried there 5 years ago. I'd almost forgotten. I looked at that line and smiled. Outside, the ginkgo leaves were still falling. In the training hall, the girls were still playing. Chess won't stop. The road won't break. Your mind is your own. I didn't close Athena's interface. I let the corporal keep blinking.